And as an innovator, you can't like fundamentally change what the product is because it's already had some success and you're trying to magnify it. But you really still can have a big influence on the product, as in like how it grows into new markets and what features need to be added to appeal to users in those markets. Hey, it's Travis Kassab, former UX researcher, and now I help product designers get their ideal careers. And a big part of this is what type of designer you are. Are you an inventor? Are you an innovator, or are you a defender? This is important to know because it determines what you do on a day-to-day basis and also how much influence you have over the product you're working on. So in this video, you'll, by the end of it, know what type of designer you currently are and what type of designer you would like to become. As designers, we know that products are adopted in waves. So the first wave is early adopters. These are people who are willing to try a product even if it's not completely finished, maybe it's a bit rough around the edges. And then you have the bulk of the users, which are the early and late majority. This is when growth really speeds up once the product hits this maturity level. And then growth slows down when all who are left are the laggards. The laggards are the people who only adopt a product once it's fully mature and once it's been proven over time. And the type of designer you are depends on the product's maturity that you're working on. So at the earliest stages, you're an inventor, and you're at the earliest stages of adoption as well. And then as adoption picks up in pace, then you become an innovator as you try to scale a product that already exists into something with more mass appeal. And then finally, you become a defender when growth starts to slow down and you're trying to protect that which the product has already achieved. You're trying to defend the product in a competitive marketplace. So the first of the three design types is the design inventor. This person is involved in the earliest stages of product development. You're trying to take things from 0 to 1 here, and you've succeeded once you get some traction among some early users. Usually inventors are found at early stage startups. You're on a small design team where you might actually be the only designer, and at its extreme, no designs or product has been built yet, so you're having to do everything from scratch. This also means that you're going to be doing end-to-end design. And what I mean by that is you need to be able to design the components, the workflows, the information architecture. You need to go across that spectrum of designs because no one is really there to help you, and you're starting from scratch. The main focus of Inventors is product formation. So you're trying to take something from 0 to 1, and if it gets adopted, then you've succeeded. But if it doesn't get adopted, then you need to loop back and fix assumptions about the product vision. This is why you face the most uncertainty and risk as an inventor, because the product vision can change, and it can make all the designs that you currently have completely irrelevant. So this is why as an inventor, you have to prioritize speed and simplicity in your designs rather than polish and perfection. So to increase your value as an inventor, you could understand the technology that the product is built on, or also the domain that the product is addressing. So if it's like accounting or supply chain software. But this understanding of technology and domain expertise will help you think more fundamentally about the problem. It will make you more independent as a designer, and you can actually contribute new product ideas and help modify the vision if something is wrong with the initial vision. Now, the second design type is the design innovator. So the design innovator takes something that already has some adoption and scales it to many more people. And fast growth is the name of the game here. So innovators are often found at growth stage startups, and these startups are trying to get to hypergrowth, which means product adoption is doubling every year. So this is very fast adoption. Innovators have slightly less control of the product than inventors do. This is because inventors are like at the very beginning. And as an innovator, you can't like fundamentally change what the product is because it's already had some success and you're trying to magnify it. But you really still can have a big influence on the product, as in like how it grows into new markets and what features need to be added to appeal to users in those markets. So rather than influencing the product vision like the Inventor did, as an innovator, you're influencing the product's roadmap and growth strategy. ChatGPT is a good example of an innovate stage product. They absolutely blew through their invent phase. They got like 5 million users in a week, 100 million users in less than 2 months, and their growth has been continuing, and it's because of this aggressive roadmap of theirs. Since its launch, ChatGPT has gone through some significant changes, and now it's this product that is challenging major categories. It might disrupt major tech categories. So the first thing I mean is ChatGPT added a browse feature, so you can type a question in, and now the AI goes and searches the internet for you and then returns with the real-time data from the internet. So this is like the first product in 20-30 years to challenge Google search. Another example is that ChatGPT mobile app has added a voice feature where you can talk back and forth with GPT-4. This is like 100x better than any other AI assistant out there. Like Siri and Alexa don't even come close. So ChatGPT Voice is the next generation of voice assistant. And then finally, ChatGPT added an app store so users can build GPTs. These are custom chatbots, you can think of them as, and then upload them to an app store, which makes ChatGPT seem less like a standalone product and more like a platform. But these are all examples of how ChatGPT is still innovating and could go through some significant transformations even from here. So the point about all of that is, as an innovator working on ChatGPT, you're not hemmed in at all. There are still many different strategic things that you can do for ChatGPT, like how does it expand into new markets and what are those new use cases? The third design type and the final one is Design Defender. This is where you inherit a legacy product, something that's been around for a while, something that already has a significant user base, and now you're there mostly to maintain it and protect the success that it's already achieved. As a defender, you're most likely at a large company with established products, and you're usually on a large design team. So there are many designers, maybe there are dedicated researchers, and it's quite hierarchical in structure. You've got your junior designers, senior, maybe some vice presidents and some directors of design in there. And the product that you're working on might be so large that it's not just multiple designers working on it, but multiple design teams. And this is why it makes designing end-to-end experiences on top of that product difficult, because now you have to coordinate with multiple stakeholders. This is why, as a defender, you have the least amount of influence on the product, because you can't make broad sweeping changes to the product. And there's no reason to make broad sweeping changes in the first place because the product is already successful. The name of the game at this point is to follow a conservative roadmap that keeps you slightly ahead of the competitors in your category. You're not looking for explosive growth. You've already almost saturated the markets that you're in, so there's only so much room for you to grow. Spotify is a good example of a product that's been in its defend phase for some time. As you can see, between 2014 and 2023, really not much has changed. I think there have been some features that have made it stickier, like they added Discover Weekly and Spotify Wrapped, but it's still the same music streaming app that I loved 10 years ago, and so it's been in this maintain phase for quite some time. Now, you might argue that Spotify recently added podcasts to their content library and audiobooks, and I agree that these are major changes to the product, but my point here is that they're obvious, that they were probably a long time coming, and I think that it was less the work of designers ideating and more the work of business and legal in order to make those additions to their content library. So to sum everything up, as you move to the left and you move to the earlier stages of product maturity, you have more influence over the product as a designer. You're there in the formative stages where the vision is being created, or you're there when there's still a lot of growth to be had and you're strategizing on how to attain that growth. Also, you'll be able to design more end-to-end experiences. This is because you can range more across the product when there are fewer designers, fewer stakeholders, and smaller design teams. On the other hand, as you move to the right in product maturity, the product becomes more stable, it becomes more set in stone. So what could you really change about Spotify? Spotify isn't going to change into a music creation app. It's going to always be a music streaming app because that's what's generating a ton of revenue for the company. And also, as you move further to the right, you'll likely find yourself in larger organizations, on larger design teams, and with more stakeholders. So this just adds a layer of hierarchy and bureaucracy that you might want to be aware of when thinking about what type of designer you want to be. So those are the 3 design types. You have Inventor, Innovator, and Defender. I hope this video showed you where you currently are and helped you determine where you want to be. And if you're interested in getting into the inventor and innovation roles, then I recommend you visit my website, uxstartupjobs.com. This is where you can find design jobs at early stage and growth stage startups. Thank you all for watching.